with farmers, and then during the scarcity period, this can be brought back and sold to people. This can go a long way to killing hunger. So we need to take advantage of guaranteeing prices for farmers so that those that provide in excess, it can be kept and used later. So my solution is, the long-term solution is, government needs to work with the farmers. Thank you.
Well said. I have been speaking with Aliyu Audu, who is an economist. He's been speaking extensively to, how we can solve the current food crisis across the nation. But let's go on a short break. When we return, the conversation continues. To stay. And you're still watching Business Daily, coming to you live on Trust TV. And just before the break, we started a conversation on whether, if food importation can stabilize, the current price of food across the nation. And according to reports, Nigeria spent about $689.8 million on food imports in the first quarter of 2024, about 40% more than what was spent in the year 2023. But I have my guest here with me in the person of Aliyu Audu, who is an economist. Thank you again for coming on the program.
Thank you very much.
Before the break, we started a conversation, on the significance of the report that we had talked about, on food importation expenditure. And also we talked about, short-term measures, long-term measures. But now I'd like for us to look at, domestic production versus importation. There has been concerns that importation, could stifle the growth of, domestic production. Farmers are not, completely in support of the 150-day window that has been introduced by the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. But what are your thoughts on that? Would it have, negative effect on our own local production?
Oh yes, definitely it will have a negative effect, because what is happening is that local importation is going to come, and obviously if it's being imported, it's going to be imported at a subsidized rate, which is going to come and compete with local production, and they're going to feel threatened, which is normal in the course of business. But in the long run, importation is not the best for us, because we should be protecting infant industries. We should be protecting local farmers. We should encourage local production. At some point, Nigeria was the second largest importer of rice in the world, second to the European Union. At some point, before the introduction of the rice program, Anchor Boras program, and that Nigeria now is producing rice. Local rice is competing with foreign rice now. Before, local rice had stones in it and you could not eat it, so it was sold very cheaply. But now, because Nigerian farmers have been encouraged through government programs, Anchor Boras program, we started producing rice. Now, Nigerian rice is as good as foreign rice. And what does that mean? It means we're creating jobs for Nigerian farmers. We're creating jobs for Nigerians. That's what it means. Anytime you talk about importation, what you're doing is you're taking the Nigerian jobs and giving it out to foreign countries. That's what you're doing when you import. Because whatever country you're importing from, they have to employ people to work for them. And you're buying their products. So you're encouraging them to employ their own people to work. Rather, we should be encouraging Nigerian farmers to produce, to employ more hands, and this will lead to employment. This will lead to killing of the hunger strike that we are currently facing. So while it's a short-term measure, you cannot fault it, because look at it, it's a new administration. You can't blame them for the policies of the last administration. So basically, they can do that, but after that, you have to look at long-term policies of working with farmers, partnering with farmers to encourage them into large-scale, mechanized farming to feed Nigerians. We should not be at this point. We should be at the point of exporting. We have enough agricultural land to farm, to feed the whole of Nigerians, and to import to other countries. This is, I'm not saying this, this is by the president of African Development Bank. He said this, and that is the truth. So we should be looking inwards, not importing. But if Nigerians are hungry, the only mid-term solution, short-term solution, is to import and then feed Nigerians, but then we should start partnering with farmers for the long-term objective of making ourselves self-sufficient. If you go to Benue, if you go to other countries, you can see there's food everywhere. There is orchards and plantations